Like an animal that was in the sky, one that's underworld, and then the one on this plane, and they were buffalo. And I'm like, I don't really have a relationship with buffalo, and but their perception of buffalo is that they're very grounded.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have a good connection with them, because I don't want to be grounded.
This is our space. Right?
What it do, baby boos?
Yo.
It is Firemouth Anonymous.
All right.
I am Amira Villalba, here with my fabulous co-host,
Wendy Serrano.
Ooh, we are here to light shiz up.
That's right.
And today we're going to be talking about non-human allies.
That's right.
Yes.
And you guys might be thinking, what the F does that mean?
That's why we're doing this episode.
Yeah.
In it to win it. So I think a great place to start would be to, again, just share the definition of what a non-human ally is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that my cue?
I could be both of our cues. Sure, why
I
not?
gotcha. Okay.
Go for it, Wendy.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm sorry, this is like, it's just been a day. It's just been a day, but I'm really excited to talk about this topic because it's fun for me.
Yeah.
So non-human allies, since I've started on my spiritual path with Path of Ish, I have learned and embraced that I am being supported and loved and embraced by everything around me, not just my mother and my friends and my family, other things besides human beings, meaning the directions and the elements and animals and everything else around us that we cannot physically touch or has the human likeness.
Right, from a tangible standpoint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you actually, you did a live on this on Instagram a few weeks ago too. And I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So I love that we're going to talk about this because I feel there are people out there that naturally resonate with certain animals, or they tend to get even physical sensations when they feel certain things around them, whether it's a spirit or an ancestor or a guide of that kind, or even like you mentioned from an elemental standpoint, which I would love for us to share about the elements that we resonate with too. So yeah, we're talking spirit animals and the gods, we're talking the elements, all of it. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be that kind of episode, friends. Buckle up. All right. This is brought to you by chocolate. Okay. Wow, my ADHD is going horde today. So
It's all right.
Before we actually start too, please like, subscribe, all the things to our channel. Yes. Get us to that subscription material. All right. So, should we start with the animals, guides, elements? What feels good for you?
I feel animals.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people may think like, oh, well, how do I know what my spirit animal is? Like, I think it's very obvious to a certain degree. I feel like all humans are kind of attracted to some kind of animal since they were children or growing up. I've always had dogs present in my life.
Same.
Fish have always been present in my life. I don't feel like super connected to fish, but dogs, yes. Yeah. Like I started drawing horses when I was little, but now I'm having I'm embracing my connection with horses more. Whales for me are also really big because I dream about them all the time. So it doesn't just have to be like, again, like not just in the physical sense, because I've never been around a whale physically. But in my dreams, they're always around. And I've learned to do research because I'm that type of person that likes to understand why.
Yeah.
And that's not always great, but
that's how we are, though. I feel like as
know.
Scorpios, we tend to do the deep dives. So we want to know the why. So I love that you have more of these. You have an aquatic animal. You have like the whale, dogs. Yes, because again, it's like I love our domestic animals and dogs. Dogs are incredible.
Yeah.
As you'll see mine slowly probably. Yep, there he is. There you go. But yes, do you happen to know the meaning behind your particular animals? Because I discovered the meaning behind mine too, the ones that I resonate with. And I think that would be really cool to share with people because I think that would get the ball rolling for people out there too who are listening or watching that are like, ooh, I'm attracted to frogs, or I resonate with this. Let me do some research and see, if ever I see that animal or I dream about it, like you mentioned, wonder what that is saying to me. Maybe the universe is giving me a message or encouragement of some kind. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. There's always messages. There are always, they are messengers in every sense of the word. And each animal or each being, I'm going to say each being, element, whatever it is, every non-human ally has its own medicine. That's the indigenous way. That's the way I'll be speaking from, is everything is everything. So everything has its own, it comes in its own contexts, and not just one thing is going to be correct, because every indigenous way can be different. So it's always important to remember what resonates with you, meaning what feels right for you, because I can say whales mean I'm going to win $1 trillion in the lottery, but to someone else who's from Egypt, a whale can be like, I don't know, bad luck. Something.
It's very true. Context. So that context is really important.
Yeah. So for me, when I started dreaming about whales, and I've been dreaming about them for a long, long time, I wasn't quite sure what it meant. I Googled it, and they represent your subconscious. Like water does. When you dream about water, it's representative of your subconscious, and the whales to me are representative of that. And I feel like being able to flow through your subconscious with ease, and because they're so gigantic, I feel like I am being represented by the whale.
Ooh, I love that.
In that sense, right? Where I am powerful, I'm gentle, I'm all these beautiful big things, but I'm also like very I feel like I'm tooting my own horn here, but like elusive. No,
I love it. There's a reason why that animal speaks to you and why it tends to show up.
Yeah.
So, like, toot it.
Toot toot.
Toot toot. There you go.
Yeah, because it was, it's they're always, I never, like, it never, what is it? Ceases to amaze me every time I dream about them. I'm always left in like complete awe and wonder. And I feel like it also represents maybe a past life where somebody said, oh, maybe you were a whale rider. And I'm like, oh, that would be freaking dope.
That'd be cool.
So yeah. So another life, I'm probably riding a whale right now.
That's really cool. I love that.
But yeah, so that's what I think of when I think of whales. Dogs, I think for me, now that I've learned more about my Aztec ancestry, I know that dogs, there is a dog deity named Xolotl who guides spirits when they transition from this world to the next. So, see, and we have a dog right here, present.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, you summoned me? I'm like, yes we did.
Yep, he's here. He likes to be part of our little chat, so don't mind him as he chews on his little antler. Get some extra sound effects in this episode, friends. It's always a great time.
Thank you, Asher.
He's like, yes.
But yeah, that's what those bring up for me. And I think, like you said, frogs, like when I was, I think in junior high, my whole room was decorated with frog stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Frogs are cool. I feel like frogs have become very prominent in quite a few people's lives, for sure. And I feel like over time, the animals or the guides can even change. So it's not like, okay, does it have to only be this one animal or guide or ancestor or element? It's like everything shifts and changes. Just like you're not the same person today that you were yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be the same person tomorrow that you were today.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you sharing that story, about whales, you whale ratter. I love it.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, because as you evolve, so does the medicine that you need.
That's true. And I love that you mentioned that about evolving too, because I feel penguins for me have always been the tried and true. Penguins are my ride or die. They are my ride or die.
When did your love affair with penguins start?
Oh, probably when the Pebble and the Penguin and the Pebble movie came out, when I was 7, 8. I fell in love with that movie, and just knowing that penguins, they're that one species that when, I think it's the male, gets a pebble and like presents it to the female, and then they stay together for life.
Oh.
Yes, and if something happens to the partner, they never get with another partner again. Supposedly. Don't mark me on that. I think that's what it is. Please feel free to correct me, anyone who's listening, watching, if I'm wrong in that, but I think that's what I remember reading about. But I thought, wow, that level of loyalty and commitment is beautiful. Plus, I feel like they're so quirky and just they wobble and hobble, and they're always dressed to impress. They always dress like they're going somewhere, because they have like the little black tie affair suit going on.
Yeah.
So I feel like the penguin for me, whether I'm actually around them live in person or I see them pop up on the TV, an ad, or I dream about it, I feel like for me that represents, hey, get in touch with more of that fun, quirky, spirited side. Are you being committed and loyal to yourself? It won't always necessarily mean to the people around me, although it can, depending on what is going on in my life at that time. But I feel like for me, it kind of represents those aspects.
Yeah.
And a recent one, I would say within the last 6 years, ever since my dad became an ancestor, is buffaloes. Bisons.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Bisons, girl, bison. I know.
No. I'm sorry. I only say that because during class they're like, do you mind me sharing?
Yeah.
So they're like the representative of like an animal that was in the sky, one that's underworld, and then the one on this plane, and they were buffalo. And I'm like, I don't really have a relationship with buffalo, and but their perception of buffalo is that they're very grounded.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have a good connection with them, because I don't want to be grounded.
See, and I feel like that's what's so interesting with bison or buffalo. My dad always used to make jokes about buffalo or bison, and so now every time I see one, to me that feels like it's a sign from him, where I'm like, cool, my dad's present. He's like sending me a little sign, just letting me know, like, hey, brat, I'm here, I got you. Like, and then because it'll always show up at random times. I'll see, because how often are you going to see buffalo? We out here in California, friends. It's not like we out there in the Midwest. We're out here in Cali. We'll see palm trees, but when the heck are you ever going to see a buffalo out here?
Yeah.
And yet, I will see like little buffalo stuffed animals or like a commercial or something come up. And I'm like, hey, Dad, what's up?
That's cool.
So it's very heartwarming and endearing for me. So for me, that's like a sign when an ancestor is present. And then I just tend to, and I feel grounded from that. So it's interesting that you bring that up, that animal represents groundedness. Because my dad always helped me feel grounded. So whenever I see that, it's like that energy brings in that sense of grounding. So that's really, really cool. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because they're the ones that would what is it, like till the soil?
Yeah.
So they're all up in the dirt. They're all up in there. So that's it was interesting when they started talking about that animal and just kind of like that feeling I got. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, because I'm like, oh, I don't like being grounded. I'm not, it makes me feel too restricted. And so that's kind of why I feel like buffalo, even you talking about buffalo is like, I'm here. And I'm like,
yep. It's like, that's your sign where it's like saying, hey, maybe we need to do some grounding in some areas. Wendy.
Yeah. It's like, maybe you need to sit with buffalo medicine. I'm like, okay.
You're like, but do I have to?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to I can't run from it because it's going to run towards me.
Ooh. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I feel like it's coming full circle. Because I've also heard, and again, please feel free to correct me, internet, I'm cool with it. You can do this. I've also heard that when it comes to like a stampede of buffalo, they actually run into like they'll run into the storms, like run into things that usually are really scary. So that's what I've heard. So if that is true,
well, that just,
I feel like maybe the universe is saying, hey, don't be scared.
No.
Like stampede into it, like go.
And I usually do. I steamroll into everything, but like this time when but I think that's that feeling of resistance is why I'm being called to sit with being grounded and sitting with buffalo so they can show me that, hey, it's okay to be grounded. It's okay to be here on this plane of existence. So that's kind of what I mean when it's an ally. They're here to teach us and to guide us, that we all have, Amira and I have our own definitions and perceptions of what they've told us. Right. But that's why it's important for you to sit with the animals that resonate with you deeply in this moment, and really what I mean by that is like, even if it's a stuffed animal or a figurine or a picture of it or whatever it is, but sitting with it, and just letting it speak to you, and that can look like anything. It can be a feeling you get. Like sometimes you can get goosebumps.
Yep.
Or
physical sensations.
or you can get a visual, or you can a smell. but it's going to trigger something in you when you really just like take deep breaths in and just like I connect with the bird kingdoms. You know, like crows are really big for me. And anytime I find a crow feather, I know that I am being guided by crow spirit. You know, so that's a big deal for me, is finding a feather, especially a crow one. So yeah, but I mean, it can mean different things for different people, but that's what I encourage you all to do, is like, if there is a certain animal that even if you don't resonate with it so much now, but maybe you did in the past, like even look it up, Google it, or you can ask Amira and I, and we can lead you towards the right, you know, in the right direction of, well, maybe you were so like teddy bears.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't have a teddy bear when they were a young
Little,
child?
and what did it signify, right? For me, it was comfort.
Yep, safety.
Yeah,
security,
love, all of that stuff. So that's a bear, and so then you start diving in deeper. Like I'm already getting goosebumps from that. I'm feeling warm.
Yeah.
What does a bear do? A mother bear is that, a protector, all of those things, a provider, and so it's not a coincidence that when you're little you have a teddy bear. But so that's what I'm saying. So like now, some people like owls or giraffes, but there's a reason why. Yep. And there's medicine behind that. And then to bleed into more like non-human allies, something that Amir and I always talk about are elements.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting how, and Wendy and I talk about this all the time, how even though we're both Scorpios, it's interesting because of our astrology and the different house placements and whatnot too. It's interesting. We have this really beautiful yin yang, which we love. We talk about it all the time, where I know, Wendy, like you very much have this very deep relationship with fire, and then I tend to have more of this connection with water. So it's really, really interesting how both of those elements for us do provide that magic and that medicine for us in different ways. And I know for myself, it's interesting when I tend to avoid the element that usually calls to me, like I was doing a few months ago, which, all right, story time, friends. I was going through some very deep mental processes where I needed some extra help. You know, love my therapist. She was really helping me through things. And, you know, Wendy was also like, you know, like you have this deep connection with water. She's like, why don't you go just like take a bath for like a little bit, soak in a bath, go to a lake, go to the beach. And I just kept avoiding water. I just did not want to get in water. And I would constantly become so frustrated. And it felt like I was continuing to spiral. And then Wendy was finally like, girl, you just need to get your ass in water. Like, just even if it's for 30 seconds. And I remember I ended up going to like a cold plunge, because that is something that's always helped me. And it was incredible. Like even me just dipping my foot in the water, I instantly felt that connection with myself again. And I'm like, why have I been avoiding this? And what's interesting is, as you've been talking about how whether it's an animal or even an element standpoint, and how there's medicine and everything, sometimes, whether we're conscious of it or not, sometimes we'll avoid the medicine because deep down we actually know what the issue and the problem is, but we're like, no, I don't really want to deal with it right now. And deep down I knew what was going on, but I didn't want to deal with it. But it was amazing how once I actually stuck my foot in the water, it felt like this electric charge. Like I all of a sudden felt reconnected with myself, and it felt like all these different timelines were coming together. And I was like, why does something so simple as just wanting to touch water, this element that I usually connect very deeply with, why was I so resistant towards it? And it's because I didn't want the medicine at that time. I was like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. So I've been very appreciative of you just saying, well, you need it. Amira, just do it. And I was like, no, Wendy, I don't want it.
I'm going to get the hose.
Yes. She's like, I'm going to hose you down. Oh, yes. But I'd love for you to share how fire has been this element for you, like been the one that's really connected with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing about that, your journey with water, because what's coming up for me out of that is water is life. Water is everything. And the fact that you were resisting life.
Yeah, I was.
And then when
Yeah.
you stuck your foot in, you felt that charge.
The flow came back, because it's true. Like, water is meant to flow. It's meant to cleanse, rejuvenate, renew.
Yeah.
And there was so much resistance around wanting to do that. So
But you
talk about
did it.
potent medicine. And I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Like you went kicking and screaming, but you did it.
But I did it.
Yeah. So like as Amira mentioned, I am also a Scorpio, which is water. But like my go-to place on this planet is the ocean. The ocean brings me so much peace. I want to live by the ocean. I want you to throw my ashes in the ocean when I die. That's how much I love water. And I didn't understand why I was so drawn to fire. Because I love fire. I'm that kid that would light all the matches in a matchbook just to watch them burn. And just that kid. And as I got older and the more I started to embrace my spirituality, I've come to this understanding that fire is very cleansing and transformative for me. Yeah. It's also like death and rebirth. It's a way to transmute something like from one thing to another.
Right.
And it's just a powerful element. Not that all the other ones aren't, but for me, fire is just like, it's fire.
Yeah.
You know, right? It's just like, it's everything. And so, like I said, the more that I've embraced my spiritual path and everything, I tend to sit with fire when things get heavy. And those are the times when I will cleanse myself with fire. I might walk over it, or when I do egg cleanses on myself, I'll throw the egg in the fire, or when I want to let go of things, I'll write it down, throw it in the fire. And it's exactly for that reason is because for me, it's more potent for me to watch it burn than to put it in water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's because that's what speaks to you.
Yeah,
because that's the element
I'm
that
like, I
speaks
can
to you.
put a note or something that I want to let go and like let it disintegrate. But that to me doesn't pack the punch of watching that thing burn and then watching the smoke rise. Like it's such a beautiful process to witness, and it's fast. So it's like, you know, writing something down, saying like, I release the fear of abandonment, speaking it, throwing that piece of paper in the fire, and then watching it physically burn, and then it be like presented as smoke to the universe.
Yeah, and it transmutes in that way too. Yeah, and I love that you shared that too, because anyone who's watching and listening, they may be attracted to one of the four, actually there's even more than the four elements, but knowing that like whether it's fire, water, earth, air, even with metals, wood, whatever the case is, like there's a reason, there's potent medicine within each of those elements.
And they're all interconnected.
They are. Yeah, we need all of it.
Yeah,
we need all of it.
Yeah, you can't you can't have fire without wood, which is earth. You can't have fire without air. You can't, you know what I'm saying? And it's all of these things mixed together, so you're never not without one, but I feel like one's always more, or you know what I'm saying?
It just resonates with you more, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like you mentioned, like with fire, that one's the one for you.
Yeah, because even like if I go to the ocean, I will always go and touch the water. Always. I don't care.
Yeah.
I will put my feet in, but if I really want to cleanse myself, I'll throw my whole self in the water. Yeah. And then I just, you know, like I feel like the ocean or water is so much more gentle than fire. Fire is just badass.
I think it just depends on what you're in need of, and whatever chapter of your life too, where it's like, okay, do I need something right now that's going to be more on the softer, gentler, more nurturing side when it comes to cleansing and transformation and transmuting? Or do I need something that is going to be bring more of the heat?
Yeah.
That's going to disintegrate and burn things at a quicker rate.
Yeah.
Versus being at a slower, gentler rate. So it just, I guess, it really just depends on where you are in your journey. And again, what is the medicine that is speaking to you that you're in need of right now?
Like, what's the shift in you? Yeah, because some people are like, well, how would you sit with the wind? And that was something I learned. So living in the Antelope Valley out in the desert, in the high desert, we are...
Wind all the time.
Yes, like super, super high, strong winds. And I remember my teacher telling me, like, stop trying to sit against the wind and let it flow through you. don't see it as an obstacle. And when they said that, I was like, holy shit, that changed the game for me. Because then it's not versus, now it's an ally.
Yeah.
And you're allowing the wind, and it's all like with intention and respect, right? Like allow the wind to move through you and take out what's not meant to be there anymore, or what messages is it carrying for you. And it really is as simple as just being still and just letting the noise of the leaves that it's blowing around or whatever sounds that it's making, allowing it to speak to your heart. This is when logic goes out the window. This is not about brain. Your brain is like, turn that thing off when you're sitting with non-human allies. This isn't meant to be dissected. This is magic.
I feel like it's more like intuition.
Absolutely.
It's more energetic in nature versus logical.
Oh yeah.
And we tend to be very logical because that's the global narrative. Is like, nope, everything has to make logical sense, where there's so many things out there that logic doesn't cover it. It's intuition. It's energetic. It's spiritual.
Part of that is how they've tried to disconnect us from nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a reason why.
Yeah. Because you can't paint with all the colors of the wind if you're over there, assembling some freaking thing for some aerospace company. Like, how dare you?
Which that's not to say that that's not important, obviously, but it's like we can get stuck so much in that logical mindset.
There's a balance.
Exactly, balance. And I feel like the shift is happening. Like there is that paradigm shift that's happening. Thank goodness. And so that's why I love that we're talking about this, because it's just helping you all understand, like, okay, what does this look like for me in my life?
Yeah.
And if this is something that I haven't done before, but I'm curious about it, cool, okay. Are there certain animals that maybe speak to you? Is there a certain element or elements, because it doesn't only have to be one,
right,
that really connects you, that makes you feel like, okay, I feel like I go into a flow state, or I feel like I am able to release things much easier when I'm in windier places, or when I'm in water, or around campfires, or, I have my feet in the dirt and walking on grass, whatever the case might be. And it's really paying attention to that. And I think that's what, honestly, for me, the message of this whole episode is paying attention to what messages nature has for you.
Yeah.
'Cause she's always providing wisdom and guidance.
Absolutely.
Just, are you listening?
And what are the feelings that come up for you? Because like when you were speaking to Mira, it was like, so my goddaughter and she wanted to help me plant stuff. And she started putting her hands in the dirt, and she got really anxious. She's like, no, I don't want to get dirty. So she's 3 years old. She didn't want to get dirty. And I looked at her, I was like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
So you can play in the dirt. We'll wash our hands after. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then I saw her creating that relationship with dirt.
Yeah.
And the more she saw me doing it, the more she started doing it. And finally, like a day or two later, her mom sent me a picture of her playing in the dirt and said, oh, I'm playing like my Nina said. Yay. So you see what but it's like some people refrain from doing things because of what they've been taught. I don't want to get dirty, or I can't go make a mud pie because I'm 42 years old. Girl, you better go make a mud pie.
Dang right, you better make that mud pie. Yes.
You better go take a mud bath. Like, what? There's no right or wrong way to do it. I think it's just getting out of your comfort zone and being able to embrace everything around you that wants to pour into you.
Yep.
And because now what I'm getting asked to talk about is cacao and the things that we ingest.
Yeah.
Which is also like cacao for me is a sacred plant medicine. But what I do before I drink it, because I the ones that I drink, they come in like little circular forms, and I will take it and I will put it to my heart, and I will say thank you for all your blessings, your richness, your abundance, to all the hands that went into making this, to the land, to the air, to the water, to the earth, to the volcano, to the boat that brought you over here.
Yeah, the whole journey.
The seed. I even thank the seed. Because if it wasn't for every single thing that went into making this, I would not be able to hold you in my hand and to ingest you. Yeah. So that's kind of like what I'm going to be, the like little nugget I'm going to be giving you all before you drink that tea. Did you even think about where that tea was grown? do you think about the people that had to go pluck that stuff and the energy that they have in them that went into that, and who packaged that, and who, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
There's so much in every single thing. Yep. And it would kind of be, it kind of blows my mind how we're not cognizant of this until now. You know what I'm saying?
Because we've been trained to be disconnected. We're disconnected from it. Not everyone has their own farmland. Not everyone has their own piece of land where they grow their animals or grow their plants, their fruits, what they drink, what they ingest. The disconnect is, most of us, we go to the grocery store to get our foods. We don't even really think about the journey that the produce and the fruits and the proteins and meats, everything, what that had to go through in order to finally be on our table. Mm-hmm. That disconnect is there for a reason. So I love that you're sharing how with you, like even before you, especially with cacao, knowing your special relationship with that particular drink and its properties and the medicine that holds, how you're like, I'm thanking the entire journey of that product before it's even coming into my body, because then you're blessing it, and then the energy that you're putting into it is that much more potent. Mm-hmm. And then the medicine, I feel like the medicine then gets activated even more because of the blessings that you're placing on it. And I love that you shared that journey, because a lot of us don't think about that. We don't. Like, funny enough, the other day, my husband and I, we were eating tacos, and for those of you who don't know, I'm a sound therapist. I use tuning forks to help in regulating the nervous system. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to tune this meat. I swear, I'm going to tune this meat, and I'm going to be thankful for it. And just be like, thank you for the sacrifice that you made. Thank you for blessing our bodies, for helping us, have sustenance, things of that nature. And I was taking tuning forks to the meat and like bringing in abundance and blessings and saying, thank you for the journey that you've made. Thank you for the people. So I love that you shared that, because I did that with our meal the other day, and it actually tasted different.
Yeah.
It tasted very different than the last time we made tacos.
Yeah. Yay!
So I was like,
okay, tacos.
Cool. I know. I was like, cool. I'm like, now I'm going to tune everything. I'm going to tune my water. I'm going to tune my fruits.
Yeah, you should do that. I would love to see the effects of you tuning water.
Yeah, I'm like, no kidding. Actually, when I was getting certified in that practice, our instructors had us take 2 different types of waters. And we had one that wasn't tuned and one that was. They both tasted very different, even though I got the water from the same fountain. And I'm like, that is weird. I'm like, what? This is wild. But it's science. I'm telling you, it's science.
Yeah.
It's science. That if you look underneath the microscope and you see when sounds are put to sand, water molecules, I'm sure all of you have seen something of that nature. Mm-hmm. You see the different shapes and things that are made when vibrations and frequencies are put to it. So yeah, it's cool.
So,
that could be a cool experiment for later.
Heck yeah, it would be. We just do that for everything. It's like, but that's what we mean when we say non-human allies. Is that everything here is ready to be of service to us, because we are 100%. Not separate from us. It's like everything else on this plane of existence already knows that it belongs to a part of us, and we were the ones that were fucked in the head, sorry for my verbiage, to be disconnected from it. Yeah, because 100%. Now, like, as human beings, we're meant to live in a community, and they've, especially Western society, everything is so isolated.
Yes.
And when I finally embraced that I am not alone ever, because the birds are with me and the leaves are with me and the wind's with me, then I feel loved and hugged all the time. Where, okay, like, maybe my mom is not having a good day, and the wind can blow, a message to me and be like, hey, call her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's, and that might sound a little woo-woo to people, but it's real. It's like, it's real. And, I firmly believe that I am able to communicate on an energetic level with a lot of non-human beings. Yeah. With plants. How many times have you heard, go talk to your plants? Go 100%. Name your plants, because they're alive.
They are. I mean, the one plant that I have in this room, that's the only one that's survived. Of all the succulents I've ever owned, this is the only one that survived. And I love that you brought that up, because that was given to me by one of my best friends. And I believe the only reason why it is still, by the grace of God, surviving and growing is because she put her juju, her energy in it. She blessed it. She told me she blessed it. And she's like, I'm blessing this plant. This is a housewarming gift. I'm blessing this and giving this to you as a form of my love. And I'm like, wow. So even having the energy of a person go into an inanimate, and I don't want to call a plant inanimate object, but like a non-human object or entity, that energy is still very potent in those items, in the animals, in the plants, in the foods, in the elements.
Yeah. Crystals.
Yeah, crystals.
How many
too.
people, crystals, like every single thing, because this was a good one. So like man, how many times have I sat with rocks?
She has a collection of rocks that she gets from different places that she travels to. Whether she collects them, I'm talking whether you collect them, or I'm talking to you like she's not, like you're not here. So so Wendy, she will collect land, like pieces of land from places that she goes to. And then even when I went to my European cruise last year, when I went to Egypt, I was like, I am feeling called to bring something back to you. And I did. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And so you have your altar where you have all the different, rocks and different pieces of land from different places you've gone to or that you've been gifted by friends. And I think that's a really beautiful way to honor Mother Earth and nature like that too, is creating an altar of some kind, if that calls to you all. Which that could be very cool.
Have many altars all over the place.
I mean, our home technically can be, our home is an altar. Like what you keep in your home, there's a reason why a lot of the places that many of us resonate with, especially if there's a lot of foliage, plants, you hear a water fountain in the back, you see wood beams. If you notice that, like pay attention the next time you go to certain restaurants, buildings and things. And if those buildings or locations usually have a good chunk of all the elements, there's something about it that makes you feel like, I just want to stay here.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus being in like a hospital or something where everything's very sterile. Like even the colors are very sterile. The types of clothes that the people who work there wear, everything has to look and be a certain way. Fluorescent lights. There's no life, like living thing, like elemental things there. It's interesting.
It's synthetic.
Yeah, exactly. It's all synthetic versus organic.
That's why I don't like fake plants. Like, get this rubber thing out of here.
You're like, no. I don't blame you. But it's beautiful.
I don't hate them. I just,
You're just like, I'd rather have, well, who doesn't want to have an actual real plant? It's just, there are people like me that we struggle a little bit to keep some plants alive. But like I said, that one's surviving because my friend.
Step by step, girl.
I appreciate you.
I have all the faith in the world.
Thank you for not judging.
No. Oh, so like today at work, right? There was this spider. This customer was like, there's a spider. And I saw it crawling along the what the heck is it called?
The counter?
The counter, thank you. The counter. So I got a piece of paper and I stuck it underneath. The spider jumped on it and I put it on the floor. Yeah. And they just looked at me like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden, the person that's working next to me, they're like, the people that he was helping were like, oh, the spider's on you. I'm like, you're fine. Just leave the spider alone. But just that, like, I don't like killing spiders. I will be that person that will get us, scoop it out and put it outside. Like, it's not, I have respect for everything. Even I don't like mosquitoes, but we won't go there. But you know what I'm saying? There's I have my own relationship with certain things. But I try to be as respectful to everything because it's all pouring back into me. So if I respect it, it will respect me and we can walk on this human journey or this journey together. But yeah, so it's that is my my 2 cents on non-human allies.
Hey.
But being able to see just how much support is being poured into you around everything and everyone that's around you at all times, and being able to just take a second out of your day before you cook or before anything you do to just be able to say thank you.
I agree. And I really appreciate that you again, just reiterated and emphasized that it's about understanding like what that journey looks like for you as an individual, and then being able to take your individual journey and then see how you can pour that out into the community, into the collective, and knowing that, okay, I have my human allies, the people that I know I can lean on and feel supported by. Now knowing that, like, wow, I actually have even more than that. So for those of you who tend to feel like, man, I'm alone, I only have one or two people in my life who I can depend on, you actually have so much more than that. Like, think about the animals in your life, whether in real life or the ones that come to you in your dreams, you know, the ones that you resonate with, the elements, Mother Nature herself. You are guided and supported and divinely protected by so many beautiful and incredible spirits, entities, guides, animals, natural elements out there. So you're never alone. You're never alone. And it's like Wendy said, it's knowing that all you have to do is listen, pay attention, be open to receiving, and seeing what is wanting to be poured into you, and then how you can reciprocate, and it becomes this beautiful, beautiful cycle of love, and knowing that, like, wow, I'm growing and evolving just through my own journey with these allies, human and non-human, and now how can I continue to bless everyone else around me with what I'm learning and what's being poured into me? How can I pour that into others?
Yeah, thank you for touching on that, because that's also something, is how do you reciprocate the medicine that they give you? And that can be like leaving water out for animals, or, you know, I don't know, whatever it is. Like you said, if you have an altar, put a little trinket of whatever animal you were sitting. Like for me, I like to, what I think is cool is just sitting outside and seeing what nature, like what part of nature comes to you. Like maybe it's an ant, or maybe it's a spider, or maybe it's a bird, like, but you have no idea. But if they're showing up for you, it's because they want to tell you something. And then, like Amira said, how do you reciprocate that? Maybe it's singing a song, or doing, like, I'm gonna do a silly little dance right now for the crows. You know, whatever you feel called, but it's always reciprocal, because they're showing up for you so you could show up for them. And it's a beautiful cycle that continues. So I think it's a blessing to be able to be conscious and aware of everything around us at all times. And I'd love to hear everybody's stories. And
we'd love to hear your stories. Please feel free to comment on this episode. Share if there are certain animals that you resonate with, or maybe it's an element, or both. We would just love to hear all your different stories. Please share. And if you have any questions, like Wendy said earlier in the episode, feel free to reach out to us. You know, we'll have our Instagram handles in the description as well, or you can, again, just leave a question, comment in this video description, and we would love to just hear from you all. And just know what speaks to you, and would even love to hear how you feel you want to reciprocate that. You know, like what you would love poured into you, and how you feel you would want to pour that back out into your community. So I loved this. This was fun.
I told you. It was fun.
Yeah. All right.
I want to thank all of our non-human allies that showed up today. Thank you so much for being part of this, for the directions and the elements and everything in between. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Asher, my dog, who was here earlier, just, you know, wanting to say, hey, you guys were talking about me. And that energy immediately was like, yeah, my boy is here. It was beautiful. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Wendy. I think that's a beautiful way to just be in gratitude for everything that is constantly here for us and wants us to have this beautiful, thriving, incredibly loving life. So we're looking forward to hearing from you all. Please stay tuned for the next one. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, all the things, save, download, share. Woo, 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 woo. Yes. Love you all. Bye.
Please take care.
Bye, friends.